Boxing is big in America. The history of the sport precedes the establishment of the United States by thousands of years. The ancient Greeks are said to have included a form of boxing as far back as 600 BC. The modern sport of boxing can be traced to the 16th century, when it became a popular sport in Great Britain. Today, the sport still uses a variation of the Marquis of Queensberry rules that were established in 1867. Boxing is the purest form of competition. It pits one man or woman against another in an enclosed ring with only the person's fists as weapons. Early matches in the United States featured bare-knuckle fighting, but today boxers use protective gloves. One of the most successful boxers in America is Mike Tyson. Tyson holds several boxing records. The greatest is possibly when he became the youngest boxer to ever win the heavyweight championship in 3 different boxing organizations. Tyson was just over 20 years old when he accomplished this feat. He was one of the most feared fighters of his time. Tyson won a total of 50 fights, with 44 of those victories coming by knockout. 12 of Tyson's knockouts came in the first round, which earned him the nickname of Iron Mike. Eventually, his advancing age and fast living took their toll on Tyson. By the early 90s, his career was virtually over. Even though his boxing career lasted until 2002, Tyson was never the same. He went on a brief acting career, most notably in the popular 2009 comedy hit The Hangover. Tyson's post-boxing career had its ups and downs. He appeared on Barbara Walters' talk show with his wife, television actress Robin Givens, where Givens called Tyson a manic depressive and that living with him was pure torture. Tyson was arrested in 1991 for raping an 18-year-old girl and spent several years in jail. He has attempted several comebacks, but has never regained his old glory. There may be no greater entertainer in the history of music in the United States than the late Michael Jackson. The list of Jackson's peers in the industry is very short, to say the least. Jackson began his career in the early 1970s as the youngest member of the musical group The Jackson 5. Michael was the lead singer and arguably the most talented of the 5 brothers who made up the band. He was born on August 29, 1958, as the 8th child of 10 in an African-American family from Gary, Indiana. The driving force behind the group's success was their father, Joseph "Joe" Jackson. The group was very popular in its time, but young Michael would go out on his own career soon after. He was a successful singer, songwriter, actor, dancer, and businessman, but his career was not without controversy. His album Thriller is the best-selling album of all time. It was released in 1982 and was followed by a series of successful albums, films, music videos, and business ventures. In 1993, the first of several people came forward to accuse Jackson of sexually improper conduct on a child. This and other accusations would haunt Jackson throughout his adult life. Jackson also gained a reputation of strange behavior. One of the indelible images often associated with Jackson is when he held his newborn child over a hotel balcony to show it to his public. It was rumored that Jackson bought the bones of the famous Elephant Man, slept in an oxygen tent, and that he altered his appearance to appear white. His photographs from his childhood and as an adult show a very different Michael Jackson. He married twice in his life, including a brief marriage to Lisa Marie Presley, the daughter of the equally great musician Elvis Presley. Jackson died on June 25, 2009, and even his death was not without controversy. His family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against his doctor, who was subsequently found guilty. Baseball is the oldest major league sport in the United States today. With the growing popularity of American football and basketball, baseball now must share the limelight with these sports. During the late 1990s, baseball was in trouble. Attendance was down. High-profile sports that featured fast-paced actions such as football and basketball were stealing baseball's thunder. That was all before Barry Bonds and a couple of other sluggers brought the game back to center stage. Bonds played the first part of his career with the Pittsburgh Pirates, where he enjoyed moderate success. After being traded to the San Francisco Giants in 1992, Bonds began a second career that put him into the spotlight for both the right and the wrong reasons. At an age when most players begin to decline in performance because of their advancing age, Bonds went on a home run tear that was unprecedented in the history of the game. Bonds never hit more than 34 home runs in 1 year for the Pirates, but playing for the Giants, he hit an astounding 73 home runs in 2001. This shattered a record that had stood for 40 years. Bonds was 38 years old by the end of the 2001 season, and many questioned how he could put up numbers like that. The answer to that question came out years later when Bonds was accused of taking illegal performance-enhancing drugs. Bonds eventually broke Henry Aaron's record for most home runs in a career, but many baseball purists feel that the record is tainted because of the illegal drug use. Bonds' post-baseball career has been damaged because of the drug use, and Major League Baseball has implemented a drug use policy since his retirement. He was indicted by a federal grand jury on charges of perjury for lying about his drug use, but was able to strike a deal to stay out of jail. In any event, his legacy is forever soiled. Since 2008, Barack Obama has been President of the United States of America. He is a historic figure primarily because he is the first African American to hold the position of president. His policies have gained him many supporters as well as many detractors. He is possibly one of the most divisive presidents to govern the country in the history of the United States. Obama is a representative of the Democratic Party, with his presidency coming after the controversial George W. Bush left office. One of the defining aspects of his presidency is the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, commonly and inaccurately called Obamacare. This act, passed into law by the U.S. Congress and signed by the President in March 2010, became effective on January 1, 2014. It is the single most significant change in government health care since Medicare was implemented in 1965. This act was intended to increase the affordability of care for Americans, expand insurance coverage, and lower the uninsured rate in the country. It is a controversial act that has many detractors, but most Americans now carry health insurance, which was not true before 2014. Obama was born in Honolulu, Hawaii in 1961. He is a graduate of both Columbia University in New York City and Harvard Law School. Before becoming president, he served as senator for the state of Illinois. He is considered a liberal by many Southern conservatives, but this may be an unfair label. The perception is largely due to the Affordable Care Act and his attempts at immigration reform. Additionally, Obama ended the U.S. involvement in the Iraq War. He also ordered the military operation that eventually resulted in the death of Osama bin Laden. Obama was re-elected as president in November 2012. Yao Ming is one of the most influential individuals ever to live in the United States of America. So, how does a 22-year-old Chinese male born in Shanghai become an international superstar who changes the way that both cultures look at each other? Ming stands 7 foot 6 inches, which makes him one of the tallest players ever to play the game. But that is not the extent of his power. Ming was tall and talented. Ming started his career in China, where he played for the Shanghai Sharks of the Chinese Basketball Association. That was the season when the Sharks won a CBA championship. He was able to negotiate release from his contract with the Sharks, making him eligible for the National Basketball Association draft in 2002. Ming was one of the most sought-after players ever to come from China, and he eventually was drafted by the Houston Rockets. Ming found moderate success in the NBA. His size and strength made him a formidable presence. He was so big and talented that he could dominate any game just by being on the court. Ming led the Rockets to the team's first playoff appearance in several years, but his statistical totals were not so impressive. Still, Ming was one of the most popular players in NBA history. The fans loved him and voted him into the All-Star game 8 times. Ming did create some degree of resentment from other players, most notably Shaquille O'Neal from the Los Angeles Lakers. O'Neal was one of the most dominant players in the game for a brief number of years, and in 2003, Ming outvoted O'Neal in an NBA fan vote by more than 250,000 votes. This angered O'Neal, who vowed to outplay Ming whenever the two giants met on the court. There is perhaps no greater American cartoon character than the world-famous Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse is a creation of the late Walt Disney, who pioneered the age of theme parks into popular American culture. Today, Mickey is the official mascot of the Walt Disney Corporation. He is what is called an anthropomorphic character, which is a term used to describe a non-human character that has human characteristics. Mickey can speak, laugh, cry, and use his hands like a human. He also walks on 2 legs rather than 4. His trademark red shorts, large yellow shoes, white gloves, and oversized mouse ears make him one of the most recognizable cartoon characters in America and in the world. Mickey was created by Disney in 1928 in the short film Steamboat Willie. That film was the first of 130 films starring the famous mouse. He has also starred in 10 full-length feature films. In the 1930s, Mickey began to appear in comic books, and on November 18, 1978, he got his own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He became the first cartoon character to earn a star on the historic sidewalk. 10 of his films have been nominated for the Academy Award for Best Animated Short Film, with Lend a Paw winning the award. Walt Disney received an honorary award for creating the character in 1932. One of the most popular children's shows in American history was the Mickey Mouse Club, which ran from 1955 to 1996. Mickey has a girlfriend named Minnie Mouse, a dog named Pluto, and a host of friends that include Donald and Daisy Duck, who are stars on their own. Today, Mickey Mouse merchandise can be found worldwide. He appears in all Disney theme parks throughout the world. In 1988, Mickey made his last full-length film appearance when he starred in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. This was a significant occurrence because it was the first time that Disney characters starred alongside Warner Brothers characters. The two corporations have been longtime rivals.